Sidrit Yeşilkaya was born and bred in Berlin. Her parents are Turkish. She's one of the 3 million people in Germany with Turkish roots. Her father came to Germany 46 years ago. He's one of the Gastarbeiter, the guest workers who came here to help rebuild what was then West Germany in the post-war years. Sidrit tells me that she spent her whole childhood in this building, that she has both good and bad memories of that time. Father, mother, and 6 children in a tiny apartment and not much money. Sidrit's parents wanted more for their children.
Jeder hat sich bemüht, die deutsche Sprache zu lernen erstmal.
She tells me that she and her brothers and sisters all went to school dutifully and made an effort to learn German. They didn't break the school rules or the law. And they've all now got jobs. They're part of the system. Now 32, Sidrit works as an interpreter. 10 years ago, she got dual citizenship, German and Turkish. We're on the way to the airport, where Sidrit's going to pick up her father. He's returning from an extended holiday in the Turkish city of Izmir. Sidrit says she's looking forward to seeing him. He's been away for 6 months.
Gelmedi o, Kadı geldi. Kadı çalışmadığı için.
Ibrahim Yeşilkaya is 71. In Izmir, they call him Almanca, the German. Since Sidrit's mother died 3 years ago, he's been spending more time in Turkey. Ibrahim tells me he's a German citizen now. Turkey used to be his home, now it's his second home. We go to Sidrit's apartment for breakfast.
It's okay.
Lately, she's been asking her father about his first years in Germany, what it was like when he arrived from East Anatolia in 1965. The jobs open to the 25-year-old all involved hard physical labor in a foundry, on construction sites, in factories. They were jobs not many Germans wanted to do. Ibrahim explains they felt very out of place at first. Shopping was difficult because they spoke no German. They had real problems just buying bread or meat. But for the 3 decades before he retired, he worked as a driver for a Berlin hospital. The job suited him well. But life wasn't all plain sailing for the children. Ibrahim felt he couldn't help Sidrit and her brothers and sisters when they had problems at school because his German wasn't good enough. And when Sidrit was 13, she started getting into trouble. For a while, her father didn't know. Ibrahim says Sidrit was rude to her teachers and was told to go to a less academic school. She kept that secret from her father. When he found out, he packed her off to Izmir in Turkey, where she went to a school run by the German embassy. Thanks to that education, she became an interpreter. Otherwise, she might have ended up a cleaning woman, he tells me. Moving with her mother to Turkey came as quite a shock for Sidrit, as did the strict discipline at the German grammar school. She had to wear a school uniform, Sidrit tells me, with her hair in braids and no makeup. She says it was a massive change for her. She found it really hard at first, but she got used to it. Sidrit passed her school-leaving exams and went to university. Now she's an interpreter for the Berlin police and in court. She also has an office in the Turkish Community Center. Sidrit and her colleagues here help unemployed people find work. Some 42% of those here in Berlin with Turkish roots don't have a job.
Merhaba. Hoş geldiniz.
From Sidret's boss, Bekir Yilmaz, I learned the older generations didn't place a high value on education. Many children still aren't fluent in German. A third don't get a school qualification.
Jeder oder fast jeder hat
Bekir Yilmaz is president of the Turkish community here. He says things are changing. The third-generation Turkish Germans know how important education and vocational training are for making a better future. But it will take another generation again before the problems of integration and prejudice are left behind.
Damit die Misere von zwei Generationen vielleicht zum größten Teil beseitigt werden kann.
Sidret has compassion for the situation her clients are in, but she's annoyed when people don't help themselves to change things. She says it drives her up the wall when people come to her who haven't even learned to speak German and spend all their time with other Turks and say it's their right to lean back and do nothing. Such people think Germany should look after them.
Ganz wenig, aber gibt's auch. Dann werde ich verrückt.
Sidret's father, Ibrahim, wants to show me the hospital where he used to work. He says he can't understand people wanting to live off state handouts. He tells me he always worked hard, even when times were tough. In the 35 years before he retired, he was only out of work for 5 days. The hospital closed down 6 years ago. For years, Ibrahim used to carry bags of washing up to 50 kilograms in weight up to the top floors here. But he's not a complainer. His life is very good, he tells me. He has lots of friends and acquaintances. Close by is the Şehitlik Mosque. The first generation of Turks who came to Germany had to pray in special rooms in people's homes or restaurants because there were no mosques here then. Ibrahim says they always found somewhere to pray. For Friday prayers, they'd gather together in a room somewhere, and they always made time for their daily prayers. Friday prayers were always important for him. When he could, he'd work over the weekend so he could have Friday off. After prayers, Ibrahim takes me to meet his son Chavit and his family. I get the feeling of strong cohesion within this family. Ibrahim hopes his 16 grandchildren will have good lives here, taking the best of their two cultures, Turkish and German, as his daughter Sidret has done. Sidret says lots of her friends are German. There are police officers who welcome her with open arms because she can help explain the Turkish culture to them. They're grateful for that.
Jetzt verstehen wir, wieso, weshalb.
I, too, am grateful for what I've learned from Sidret Yeşilkaya and her father Ibrahim. Turkish immigrants and the descendants of Turkish immigrants have made a huge contribution to Germany, and they continue to do so. I think that contribution needs to be better acknowledged here.
Bombanın bir de bomba attım, onu duydun mu? O gün ben unuttum işte.